As the first rays of sunlight touched the striped sandstone domes of the Bungle Bungle Range, one of Australia's most remarkable survivors begins to emerge. Hidden among cliffs, rocky ledges, and narrow crevices lives a creature perfectly adapted to one of the harshest environments on the continent, the short-eared petrog. Unlike the larger kangaroos that roam Australia's open landscapes, this agile marsupial has evolved specifically for life among rocks. Every aspect of its body tells a story of survival. Its powerful hind legs allow it to leap effortlessly between steep outcrops, while its long tail acts as a counterbalance, helping it maintain stability on surfaces where a single misstep could prove fatal. For millions of years, the sandstone formations of the Bungle Bungle Range have served as both a fortress and a home for these. The region's climate presents constant challenges. During the dry season, daytime temperatures can exceed 40 degrees Celsius. Water becomes scarce, vegetation withers, and survival depends on conserving energy and avoiding the intense midday heat. Rather than remaining active throughout the day, it spends the hottest hours sheltering deep within shaded rock crevices. These natural shelters can be significantly cooler than the surrounding environment, providing a refuge from the relentless Australian sun. As temperatures begin their search for food begins. The Bungle Bungle Range may appear barren to human eyes, but for a rock wallaby, it offers a surprisingly diverse menu. They feed on grasses, leaves, young shoots, fruits, and seasonal vegetation that flourishes after the arrival of the wet season. Rainfall is the defining force of life in Purnululu National Park. When the first storms arrive, the landscape transforms almost overnight. Fresh green growth appears across the valleys and rocky slopes. For the wallabies, this brief period of abundance is critical. It allows them to build energy reserves that will help sustain them through the long dry months ahead. Water itself is a precious resource. Unlike many animals, short-eared rock wallabies do not always need to drink regularly from open water sources. Much of their moisture comes directly from the vegetation they consume. This adaptation gives them a significant advantage in an environment where surface water may disappear for weeks or even months. Yet food and water are only part of the challenge. Predators are constantly present. Large birds of prey patrol the skies above the Bungle Bungle Range, searching for opportunities. On the ground, snakes and other predators pose additional threats. For young wallabies, the danger is especially great. Their greatest defense is the landscape itself. The same rugged sandstone formations that make the Bungle Bungle Range famous also provide countless escape routes. A rock wallaby can navigate steep cliffs and narrow ledges with astonishing speed and precision, often reaching safety in places inaccessible to most predators. Scientists studying these animals have been fascinated by their extraordinary agility. Their specialized feet feature rough pads that provide exceptional grip on rocky surfaces. Combined with powerful muscles and remarkable balance, they can perform leaps that appear almost impossible, moving effortlessly through terrain that seems nearly vertical. These abilities have allowed the species to thrive in environments where many competitors struggle to survive. But the short-eared rock wallaby is more than just a survivor. It plays an important role within the ecosystem of the Bungle Bungle Range. As it feeds on vegetation, it helps disperse seeds throughout the landscape. In turn, it forms part of the food web that supports larger predators. Its presence reflects the health of the broader environment. Where wallabies thrive, the ecosystem is functioning as it should. As dusk settles across the ancient sandstone domes and shadows lengthen through the valleys, groups of rock wallabies continue their quiet routines, moving among the cliffs much as their ancestors have done for countless generations. They are living symbols of adaptation, resilience, and the remarkable ability of life to flourish in even the most challenging landscapes on Earth. Yet the short-eared rock wallaby is only one of many extraordinary animals that call the Bungle Bungle Range home. As night falls completely over Purnululu, another predator begins to stir, one that has earned a reputation as one of Australia's most fearless and fascinating native carnivores. As darkness spreads across the Bungle Bungle Range, the sandstone domes fade into silhouettes beneath a sky crowded with stars. The daytime world of wallabies and soaring birds gives way to a very different realm, one ruled by stealth, speed, and survival. Emerging from the shadows is one of Australia's most remarkable native predators, the northern quoll, Dasyurus halicatus. At first glance, the northern quoll appears almost harmless. About the size of a small cat, it has reddish-brown fur covered in distinctive white spots, bright eyes, and a curious expression. But appearances can be deceiving. Despite its modest size, the northern quoll is a fearless hunter capable of taking on prey nearly as large as itself. It is one of Australia's last remaining carnivorous marsupials and a living reminder of a time when unique native predators dominated the continent. The rugged landscape of the Bungle Bungle Range provides an ideal habitat for these animals. The countless cracks, caves, rocky ledges, and hidden crevices formed over millions of years create a maze of shelters where quolls can hide during the day. These rocky refuges offer protection from both predators and the extreme heat that characterizes the Kimberley region. Like many animals in Purnululu National Park, the northern quoll is primarily nocturnal. During daylight hours, temperatures can become dangerously high. Remaining active under such conditions would require enormous amounts of energy and water. Instead, the quoll conserves both by resting in cool, shaded shelters until night arrives. Once darkness falls, however, everything changes. The quoll becomes a tireless explorer. Using its sharp sense of smell and excellent hearing, it patrols the landscape in search of food. Its diet is remarkably varied. Insects, spiders, small reptiles, frogs, birds, eggs, and small mammals may all become targets. This flexibility is one of the keys to its survival. In an environment where food availability changes dramatically between seasons, specialists often struggle. Generalists like the northern quoll can adapt more easily, taking advantage of whatever resources are available at a given time. The wet season is particularly important. As rains transform the landscape, insect populations explode. Temporary waterholes appear throughout the region, attracting frogs, reptiles, and countless other creatures. For the quoll, this period represents a season of abundance. The dry season tells a different story. Water becomes scarce. Many prey species become less active or retreat into shelters. Hunting becomes more difficult, and survival depends on experience, adaptability, and persistence. Fortunately, the northern quoll possesses all three. Its agility allows it to move quickly across rocky terrain. Sharp claws help it climb trees and sandstone formations with ease. Unlike many predators that rely primarily on speed, the quoll combines patience, intelligence, and versatility. Every night becomes a calculated search for opportunity. Yet survival in the Bungle Bungle Range is never guaranteed. The northern quoll itself faces numerous dangers. Large snakes, birds of prey, and introduced predators in other parts of Australia have contributed to significant population declines. Across much of its historical range, the species has disappeared entirely. The Kimberley region, however, remains one of its most important strongholds. The remoteness of places like the Bungle Bungle Range has helped preserve critical habitat, allowing populations to persist where they have vanished elsewhere. For conservationists, the northern quoll represents both a success story and a warning. Its continued survival demonstrates the value of protecting intact ecosystems. At the same time, its vulnerability highlights how quickly even highly adapted species can face challenges in a changing world. Researchers continue to study quolls throughout northern Australia, seeking to better understand their behavior, movements, and ecological role. What they have discovered is a predator far more complex than its small size suggests. The northern quoll helps regulate populations of insects and small animals, contributing to the balance of the ecosystem. Without predators like the quoll, the delicate relationships that sustain life in the Bungle Bungle Range could begin to shift. Every species matters. Every hunter has a role. And as the northern quoll disappears into the darkness before dawn, it leaves behind a powerful reminder that some of nature's most important creatures are not the largest or the strongest, but the most adaptable. Yet even this fearless hunter must remain alert. Above the sandstone domes, another predator watches from the skies. With a wingspan stretching more than 2 meters and eyesight capable of detecting movement from incredible distances, it rules the air above the Kimberley wilderness. As the first light of dawn spreads across the Bungle Bungle Range, the sandstone domes begin to glow in shades of gold and orange. The cool air of the night slowly gives way to another hot day in the Kimberley. High above the landscape, long before most animals become active, a silent ruler is already awake. Circling effortlessly on rising columns of warm air is the wedge-tailed eagle, Aquila audax, Australia's largest bird of prey and one of the most powerful aerial predators on the continent. With a wingspan that can exceed 2.5 meters, the wedge-tailed eagle dominates the skies of Purnululu National Park. Its broad wings and distinctive wedge-shaped tail make it unmistakable as it glides above the ancient sandstone formations. From the ground, it may appear relaxed. In reality, it is constantly hunting. Its eyesight is among the sharpest in the animal kingdom. From hundreds of meters above the earth, a wedge-tailed eagle can detect the slightest movement among the grasses, rocky slopes, and scattered woodlands of the Bungle Bungle Range. Nothing escapes its attention. A wallaby moving between boulders. A lizard warming itself on a rock. A small mammal emerging from a crevice. Every movement is observed. The eagle's hunting strategy depends heavily on patience and efficiency. In a region where temperatures can become extreme, conserving energy is essential. Rather than constantly flapping its wings, the bird uses thermal currents created by the heating landscape to remain airborne for hours with minimal effort. The Bungle Bungle Range is perfectly suited for this style of flight. As sunlight warms the sandstone domes and surrounding plains, columns of rising air develop across the landscape. The eagle skillfully rides these invisible highways, scanning vast areas without expending significant energy. Its territory can cover hundreds of square kilometers. This enormous range allows it to adapt to changing conditions throughout the year. During the wet season, prey becomes more abundant. Fresh vegetation attracts herbivores, temporary waterholes support countless animals, and breeding activity increases throughout the ecosystem. For the eagle, these months provide exceptional hunting opportunities. The dry season, however, can be far more challenging. As water sources shrink and vegetation becomes sparse, many animals alter their behavior. Some become more difficult to find, while others concentrate around remaining water sources. The eagle adapts accordingly. Its intelligence is one of its greatest strengths. Unlike many predators, wedge-tailed eagles are highly opportunistic. While they are capable hunters, they will also scavenge when the opportunity arises. This flexibility allows them to survive even when prey becomes scarce. In the harsh environment of the Kimberley, adaptability often determines success. The eagle's nesting behavior is equally impressive. Pairs may remain together for many years, building enormous nests high in trees or on inaccessible cliff ledges. Some nests are reused season after season, gradually becoming massive structures through repeated additions of sticks and branches. The elevated position provides safety and an excellent vantage point over the surrounding landscape. For young eaglets, however, life begins with significant challenges. Food availability, weather conditions, and competition all influence survival. Only the strongest individuals successfully reach adulthood and eventually establish territories of their own. Those that do may live for decades. Throughout their lives, they become an integral part of the ecosystem. By controlling populations of small mammals, reptiles, and other prey species, wedge-tailed eagles help maintain ecological balance. They are not merely hunters, they are regulators within a complex web of life. Their presence often indicates a healthy environment. Where top predators thrive, the ecosystem beneath them is usually functioning well. For visitors fortunate enough to witness one soaring above the Bungle Bungle Range, the experience is unforgettable. Against the backdrop of ancient sandstone domes and endless blue skies, the eagle embodies the wild spirit of the Australian Outback. Yet even the skies are not the only domain of remarkable survival. As daylight fades and the eagle returns to its perch, another extraordinary resident begins to emerge from the rocky landscape. Unlike the eagle, this creature does not rely on flight. It survives through patience, stealth, and incredible endurance. Hidden among the sandstone crevices of Purnululu lives one of Australia's most impressive reptiles, a predator capable of thriving in conditions that challenge nearly every other animal around it. As the sun disappears behind the striped domes of the Bungle Bungle Range and darkness begins to settle across the Kimberley wilderness, a different kind of predator awakens. Unlike the northern quoll, which actively searches for prey, or the wedge-tailed eagle, which dominates the skies, this hunter relies on patience. It does not chase. It does not roar. It does not announce its presence. Most of the time, it is never seen at all. Hidden within the sandstone gorges and rocky crevices of Purnululu National Park lives the olive python, Liosis olivaceus, one of Australia's largest snakes and one of the most perfectly adapted predators in the region. Growing to lengths of more than 4 meters, the olive python is an impressive sight. Its smooth scales shimmer with olive, bronze, and golden tones, allowing it to blend seamlessly into the rocky environment of the Bungle Bungle Range. Camouflage is one of its greatest weapons. The sandstone walls, scattered boulders, and shadow-filled crevices provide the perfect backdrop for an ambush predator. Remaining completely motionless, the python can wait for hours, or even days, for the right opportunity. Patience is essential in this environment. Food is not always abundant, especially during the long dry season. Every hunting attempt must count. Unlike venomous snakes, the olive python kills through constriction. Once prey is captured, the snake wraps its powerful body around the animal, tightening with each breath until escape becomes impossible. Its diet reflects the diversity of the ecosystem. Small mammals, birds, bats, reptiles, and occasionally larger prey may all become meals. The snake's flexible jaws allow it to swallow animals much larger than one might expect. A successful hunt can sustain an olive python for weeks. Sometimes even longer. This ability to survive extended periods without food is one of the reasons the species thrives in the challenging conditions of northern Australia. Water is equally important. Fortunately, the unique geography of the Bungle Bungle Range provides opportunities unavailable in many surrounding regions. Deep gorges and shaded rock pools often retain moisture long after seasonal rains have ended. These hidden pockets of water become critical gathering points for wildlife. And wherever animals gather, predators are never far away. The olive python frequently positions itself near these natural resources, taking advantage of predictable animal movements. A thirsty bird, a wallaby seeking water, or a bat returning to a roost may unknowingly pass within striking distance. Yet despite its fearsome reputation, the olive python is not an aggressive animal. In fact, encounters with humans are extremely rare. The snake's first instinct is usually to avoid conflict. Its remarkable camouflage and preference for remote habitats mean that most visitors to Purnululu never realize they have been close to one. Like many species in the Bungle Bungle Range, the python depends heavily on the region's unique geology. The cool interiors of caves and rock fissures provide shelter from extreme temperatures. During the hottest parts of the day, these natural refuges can be significantly cooler than the exposed landscape above. Temperature regulation is vital. As a reptile, the olive python relies on external sources of heat to control its body temperature. During cooler mornings, it may bask briefly in sunlight. As temperatures rise, it retreats into shade. This constant movement between warm and cool areas allows it to maintain the ideal conditions for digestion, movement, and survival. The snake's role within the ecosystem is profound. As one of the region's top reptilian predators, it helps regulate populations of rodents, birds, and other animals. Without predators such as the olive python, ecological balance could quickly be disrupted. Every species has a role. Every predator serves a purpose. And in the hidden corners of the Bungle Bungle Range, the olive python performs its role with remarkable efficiency. For millions of years, snakes like this have navigated the changing landscapes of Australia. They have survived droughts, floods, climate shifts, and environmental transformations that would have eliminated less adaptable creatures. Their continued presence is a testament to nature's resilience. As night deepens over Purnululu and the sandstone walls radiate the heat stored during the day, the olive python continues its silent patrol through the shadows. Invisible to most. Feared by few. Essential to the balance of life. Yet even this ancient predator shares the landscape with another remarkable survivor, one whose brilliant colors and dramatic appearance make it one of Australia's most recognizable reptiles. Unlike the python, it does not rely on stealth. When threatened, it puts on one of the most spectacular displays in the animal kingdom. As another day begins in the Bungle Bungle Range, sunlight spills across the ancient sandstone domes, illuminating one of the most remarkable reptiles in Australia. Perched motionless on a tree trunk, almost perfectly camouflaged against the bark, sits the frilled neck lizard, Chlamydosaurus kingii. At first glance, it appears unremarkable. Its slender body, long tail, and earthy coloration allow it to blend effortlessly into the woodland habitat surrounding Purnululu National Park. But hidden around its neck is one of nature's most extraordinary defensive adaptations, a large frill of skin supported by elongated cartilage structures. Most of the time, this frill remains folded neatly against the body. Yet when danger appears, everything changes. The lizard suddenly rises onto its hind legs, opens its mouth wide, and expands the enormous frill around its head. Instantly, a relatively small reptile transforms into what appears to be a much larger and more intimidating creature. The display is both dramatic and effective. Predators often hesitate when confronted by this sudden explosion of color and size. In many cases, that brief moment of confusion is all the lizard needs to escape. And escape it can. The frilled neck lizard is an exceptional runner. When threatened, it often sprints away on its hind legs, using its tail for balance as it races across the ground. The sight has earned it comparisons to miniature dinosaurs and has fascinated visitors and scientists alike for generations. But survival in the Bungle Bungle Range requires far more than impressive defenses. Like all reptiles in the region, the frilled neck lizard must cope with extreme temperatures. The climate of the Kimberley is defined by contrasts. During the wet season, tropical storms bring life-giving rainfall, transforming the landscape into a vibrant mosaic of green vegetation and active wildlife. During the dry season, however, heat and drought dominate the environment. The lizard has evolved to thrive in both. Early in the morning, it emerges to bask in the sun, absorbing warmth needed to fuel its metabolism. As temperatures rise, it seeks shelter in trees or shaded areas where it can avoid overheating. This careful management of body temperature allows it to remain active while conserving energy. Its diet is equally adaptable. The frilled neck lizard primarily feeds on insects, including ants, beetles, termites, and grasshoppers. During periods of abundance, especially after seasonal rains, food becomes plentiful. The explosion of insect life following the wet season provides ideal feeding conditions. This connection highlights one of the most important truths about the Bungle Bungle ecosystem. Every species is linked. The rains nourish the plants. The plants support insects. The insects feed reptiles. The reptiles become prey for larger predators. From the smallest ant to the largest eagle, every organism plays a role in maintaining the balance of life. The frilled neck lizard is a perfect example of this interconnectedness. It is both hunter and hunted, survivor and participant in a much larger ecological story that has been unfolding across the Kimberley for millions of years. Its continued success reflects the extraordinary adaptability that characterizes so many of the animals living within the Bungle Bungle Range. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson of this landscape. Throughout our journey, we have encountered species that thrive where conditions seem impossible. The agile short-eared rock wallaby navigates cliffs and sandstone labyrinths with ease. The fearless northern quoll hunts through the darkness of the Kimberley night. The mighty wedge-tailed eagle patrols the skies above one of Australia's most remote wildernesses. The silent olive python waits patiently among ancient gorges, maintaining balance within the ecosystem. And the frilled neck lizard demonstrates that survival sometimes depends on adaptation, innovation, and the ability to respond to change. Together, these animals tell the story of Purnululu. A story not merely of spectacular landscapes, but of life itself. Beneath the famous striped domes, beyond the towering cliffs and hidden gorges, exists a living world shaped by millions of years of evolution. Every species has been molded by heat, drought, storms, predators, and opportunity. The result is one of Australia's most extraordinary ecosystems. A place where geology, climate, flora, and fauna are woven together into a delicate and enduring balance. As the sun sets once more over the Bungle Bungle Range and the sandstone formations glow in shades of amber and gold, the wildlife of Purnululu continues its ancient rhythms, hunting, feeding, resting, and surviving as it has for countless generations. And long after visitors leave, the story of this remarkable wilderness goes on. END